Hey, greetings YouTube. Performance Reviews, where I give you the review from the technician's point of view. And today we're going to take a look at the Lindhaus LS38. This is the plug-in version. There is also a cordless version, which is exactly the same, minus the cord. So if you feel a battery would be better for your environment, definitely check that out. Now, if you're not familiar with Lindhaus, they are a commercial vacuum company that originally started off making vacuum motors and then moved into commercial vacuums and then into domestic vacuums. Today we are going to be talking about a commercial machine, and you can tell a Lindhaus commercial machine by the gray and the blue color. That tends to be the scheme that they use. Not on all of them, but on most of them right now. And there's also a very thick commercial yellow cord. Alright, now that you get the size of the LS38, it's the width of a 15-inch commercial machine, but it's a lot longer than most machines, but it's really not much bigger than something like a Sanitaire or commercial Eureka. If you compare it to a clean air upright, like this commercial Recar, or a Windsor product, Karcher product, Sebo product, it's not out of the realm of sizing, though it does look bigger on camera than it is in person, so keep that in mind. If you have any questions about size, here are the exact measurements of the machine. So this machine's not designed to go under your kitchen counters. It's not designed to be used in a house. This machine's going to be most at home in a commercial environment. Something like a restaurant, the entryway of a grocery store, a retail store where there's a lot of stuff on the ground. Because of its a large item capability, that's kind of its biggest selling point. So this machine really replaces the Sanitaire uprights in terms of who would buy this, but it is not meant to be an all-in-one solution. It has no tools on board. There's no way of attaching any tools. So this really is meant, again, for a specific environment. But if that is your environment, this will definitely suit your needs. Now, as far as handling goes, it handles more like a canister than it does an upright. It has one pedal release, and it has a swivel neck. It really has a wide range of motion with that swivel neck. And the thing that this feels closest to when you are using it is a really uncommon machine now, but a Miele Art moves in a similar fashion and was discontinued by Miele. Again, there's no real relation between these companies or anything. But I wanted to state that this thing really does move like the Miele Art. So the reason this moves so easily is all the weight is down on the bottom of the machine. There is almost no weight to the user. The handle seems to be made out of aluminum or an aluminum alloy. It's very lightweight to feel in your hand. So it makes this thing feel much smaller than a 15-inch machine. Again, it's similar to pushing a canister power head in terms of its actual feel. Now, on the bottom of the machine, we can see here, there's a bit of stuff going on. You have these really big heavy-duty casters, and all the wheels have a rubber coating on them, so they should be non-marring, non-marking. Now, there's no way to turn the dual brush roller off. So again, if you had delicate wood floors, something like that, this probably isn't the machine for you, but if you have LVT or tile or cement like we'd find in a commercial environment, this will be just fine for you as well. The other thing that's peculiar about this is it has this gate, and why it's on its backside, you can see it, this gate right here. This gate has basically three positions. Down, which is really for carpet or when you're not doing big item pickup, kind of a medium, or all the way up. All the way up allows very large objects to go into this machine. I have a whole video just on what it can digest and what it can't. But really, quite amazing the stuff this thing can suck up. I think this is a good time to go into the shop and go into some technical details of this machine. Welcome to the In the Shop section where we go into the technical details. So the first thing I want to point out is the electrical cord. You have a quick change electrical cord, which means there's no wiring to deal with. Any Joe Schmo can order this electrical cord. It's a standard of fitting there. And you can just change the electrical cord like this. This is important because in a lot of commercial environments, the cord gets really abused. The other thing I'd like to point out is the size of this pedal release and how this works. Both the pedal release and the neck are glass reinforced resin, so super tough pieces there. Now, if you had the cordless version of this, the battery would slip in here. Then we have the Lindhaus identification sticker right here, and you can see it's made in Italy. The next maintenance item is the handle, which just comes off with a button lock, and like I said, this weighs almost nothing, being aluminum. One screw on here to replace the handle. This is basically a repurposed wand from Lindhaus. Easy to break down. Now the next thing I really like is this right here. So you pull up on the red tab, and the brushes, without tools, just pull right out. These are the standard Lindhaus brush rollers. These are widely available. Now as we get into the rest of it, the way you get to the bag compartment is this cover right here. And I want to point out that the tabs, if the user were to break them off, are replaceable. Again, this is meant for a very large scale company to use and abuse. Now that we have the cover off, we can see the bag, which has got a very large opening. This is what allows big objects to go into it. Bag is of a HEPA material, easy to change. It has a gasket on it. The bag is bigger than it looks, but it's definitely not the biggest bag. However, it is bigger than like a dump cup on a sanitary or something. I'd say this bag is on par with something like a SIBO upright or Karcher upright. Now right here, without tools, we can pull the cover off. This is the duct going into the brush roller chamber, and I like that the brush roller chamber has suction going to both brush rollers. You can see the drive on here, right there. It's actually metal, very, very well made. Again, all of Lindhaus stuff is commercial rated, and they are a well-known commercial company, so none of this should really come as a surprise. Moving to the back side of this, there's a couple other items here I should point out. One is the exhaust filter of the machine. This comes with the bags, but you can put a Lindhaus HEPA or Lindhaus charcoal exhaust filter if the environment demands that. The bag check indicator just pulls right off if it breaks, and I do want to note that it is adjustable to the altitude right there. However, for the bag check indicator to work, you must have this gate all the way down, so keep that in mind when you're adjusting this. That just snaps right back. You got your pre-motor filter in a nice cage right there. So let's talk a little bit about how this works and the motor making this happen. Now as we lift the rubber bumper up, again that's soft, non-marring, we can see the drive mechanism in here. And now we've gotten some really interesting territory on here. You can see there's some metal pieces right here. If you're familiar with the Windsor SIBO automatic style of upright, this will kind of look at home to you. You have two belts, one here and a longer one here going to the drive. There is some sort of idler pulley clutch assembly in here as well. And then there is, you can see this big metal casted piece going up here to the drive. So all this is very well constructed. The belts are a serpentine belt. They're made to last the lifetime of the product. I don't suggest that you change these unless something catastrophic has happened with the machine. Again, most likely you'll never need to change those. So the rear cover just lifts off, and this can show you what's inside here. This is just kind of a standard Lindhaus motor. I believe this is the same motor shared with the Activa uprights from the looks of it. You have the intake for the suction bay that goes straight into the motor. I mean, you're like 2 or 3 inches going straight in the motor. So you kind of get that Oric or Kirby effect. You'll notice there is a very large cavity right here. Again, this is for the battery operated model. The battery would sit here. Now I have used both the corded and the cordless model. I don't really see a huge difference in performance, noise using them, so I'm going to go ahead and say pick what's right for you. The switch is a standard off-the-shelf commercial switch, which I like. The board, of course, is specific to this. Lindhaus has been using boards in their vacuums for over 30 years. I can probably count on one hand how many times I've had to change a Lindhaus board. So I don't consider this a point of fail. This also controls soft start on the motor. This also keeps the motor from burning itself up. If the user has a problem, this has indicator lights to let the user know if there's a problem. So again, this probably really saves a lot of these machines. And then you can get a better look at the clutch right here. It's actually more of just a drive pulley, but really wonderful the way they did that. The motor is also mounted with rubber motor mounts, which reduces noise and vibration. Really, really well thought out. That's it. There's not much to this. I think anybody who's going to service this or buy these will appreciate the mechanical simplicity of this machine. Hey, something I wanted to mention is I've been using this thing all over the house and just around for like 2 months or maybe 3 months. You'll have to see when I unboxed it. And there was a little bit of hair stuck in this area, but the brush rollers didn't seem to build up any hair. So I thought that was worth noting, that they were, I'm not going to call them anti-tangle, but maybe a little bit more tangle resistant than some traditional machines. And of course, speaking, these brush rollers are just super easy to put in. And you notice they fit through this hole. That's to pull any crap off them when you pull the brush roller out. You can see how those counter rotate in there. So this machine is just super simple to service and put back together. And I think in a commercial environment, you're really going to appreciate just how simple this thing goes back together. All right, we're going to do our usual pickup test, which involves cat litter, flour, breakfast cereal, and fresh pet hair. One thing that is a little different is that we use soft carpet here. It's what I have in my house. It's also the hardest thing to clean. I have the gate set to the medium setting on this. Let's see how it does. And of course, you're hearing the real sound of the machine with the studio microphone. Pretty much the worst case scenario for this machine, because again, it's not really meant to do this home carpet. It's meant to do commercial flooring. So let's see how it did on the animal hair. No animal hair. Got the cat litter, got the breakfast cereal. I don't know if it picks up on camera, but there's a little bit of flour embedded in there. And with the gate closed or open halfway, it's gonna vary. So if I were to close this gate all the way, I'm curious to see what it would do over here. So we're just going to run it and see. I've closed the gate completely on the front of this. I just want to run the flour test on the carpet, show you what it does with the gate closed. As you can see, it does much better with the gate closed. I still think there's probably, I can't feel it on my hands like I can with some of the other vacuums I've done, but I still don't think that really fine stuff on plush carpet like this is this machine's forte. We're going to do a hard floor pickup test. I have the gate halfway open on the machine. As usual, we have breakfast cereal, cat litter, flour, and fresh pet hair. Let's see how the Lindhaus does. There's a little bit of fine dust, both from the flour, but you don't see any flour in the ground. Again, you have to touch the floor. And a little piece of breakfast cereal that was kicked around. Now, something I didn't know until I just started running it is that the machine is exhausted all throughout the top here. And you saw it at the start of the video, it blew some of the pet hair away. So that was very interesting to find. Alright, I've closed the gate as far as it will go. Let's see how it does on the flour now. that picked it up no problem. So what we've learned here today about the Lindhaus is that this gate position, whether it's all the way open or all the way shut, makes a difference depending on the debris that you're picking up. So if you're picking up fine debris, you need it closed all the way. If you want to pick up pencils and big stuff, you can leave it open all the way. And there is that in-between setting. So that's an interesting thing to have learned about the Lindhaus. You certainly don't notice it when you vacuum one way or the other. You would really have to put a lot of stuff on the floor to notice it. I've vacuumed my house countless times with this gate all the way open, and I can't say that I noticed a difference between using that and, say, just a straight suction canister or something like that. Alright, my final thoughts on the Lindhaus LS38 is that for what this machine is designed to do, does it fantastically well. It is quite the Chad of vacuum cleaners, especially if you're coming from a direct air upright like a Sanitaire or a commercial Hoover, something like that. This machine's going to knock your socks off. If you are coming from something like a Karcher, Windsor, Seabo, this is going to be a specific use case of wanting that large debris pickup. If you're not looking for a large debris pickup machine and you're looking for something like for your house or something, this is not your machine. This is not a home machine. So if you own a restaurant, a retail space, a grocery store, definitely consider this. It's a great machine. The fact that it comes in both corded and cordless will really appeal to a lot of customers. It's 15 inches wide. It's a large cleaning path for a machine that's this slim. So thanks for watching. If you like our content, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. If you really like our content, share it. If you love our content, go check out our Patreon page where we do exclusive content for our Patreon supporters. There is going to be something Patreon based with this machine, and they get exclusive videos and early access. So it helps keep the lights on here on the channel, considering things are very different now in the YouTube scheme. So again, big thank you to our Patreon supporters. If you want to talk about vacuum cleaners, it's not Lindhaus related, and you want to talk about Hoover Elites or something silly like that, check out our Discord server where we talk vacuum cleaners all day long. Have yourself a wonderful day.